Right. I will explain this in the simplest way, word by word, line by line, just like I'm teaching a young child with no knowledge. Let's begin step by step. Who were the Bharashivas? A long time ago in ancient India, there was a group of rulers called the Bharashivas. They were very powerful and ruled over a large area. They were called Naga kings because they belonged to a royal family known as the Nagas. What made the Bharashivas powerful? 1. They won many battles. The Bharashivas fought many wars and won. 2. They performed 10 Ashvamedha sacrifices. This is very important. The Ashvamedha sacrifice was a grand ritual done by powerful kings to show that they ruled over many lands. In this ritual, a special horse was let loose to wander freely. If any king tried to stop it, they had to fight. The Bharashivas completed 10 of these sacrifices, which meant they were very strong and no one could challenge them. 3. They ruled along the Ganges River. The Bharashivas ruled over areas near the Bhagirathi Ganges River, which was a very important place in India. 4. They had many capitals. The Bharashivas had important cities like Vidisha, Padmavati, Kantipuri and Mathura they ruled from. Connection to the Vakatakas, there was another powerful kingdom called the Vakataka dynasty. The Bharashivas and the Vakatakas became connected through marriage. Bhavanaga, a king from the Bharashivas, gave his daughter in marriage to Gautamiputra, the son of Pravarasena, a great king of the Katakas. This marriage helped unite both kingdoms and made them even stronger. Connection to the Guptas. Many years later, the Gupta Empire, another strong kingdom, also saw the Nagas as important. The Gupta Emperor Chandragupta II wanted to marry a Naga princess to create an alliance, friendship with them. Even during Skandagupta's rule, a Naga king was still governing in northern India. Why is this important? 1. The Bharashivas helped weaken the Kushanas. Before the Bharashivas became powerful, another kingdom called the Kushanas ruled over the same area. The Bharashivas fought them and pushed them out. The Kushanas had to move further away to the northwest, near the Salt Range, now in Pakistan. 2. They created a strong empire. Their rule was so important that it influenced later kingdoms like the Vakatakas and Guptas. 3. They proved their power through Ashvamedha. Doing 10 Ashvamedha sacrifices was a huge achievement in Indian history. Examples to understand better. Imagine a strong leader today who wins many elections and proves that he is the most powerful. That's like what the Bharashivas did with 10 Ashvamedha sacrifices. If 2 big business companies join together through marriage, they become stronger. This is what happened when the Bharashivas married into the Vakataka family. If a strong country fights a big empire and makes them leave, that's what the Bharashivas did to the Kushanas. Final summary. The Bharashivas were Naga kings who ruled in northern and central India. They performed 10 Ashvamedha sacrifices, proving they were very powerful. They ruled over areas along the Ganges River and had many capitals. They married into the Vakataka dynasty, making both kingdoms stronger. They helped push the Kushanas out of India. Later, even the Guptas respected the Nagas and made alliances with them. This is why the Bharashivas were one of the most powerful rulers of ancient India. I have explained everything in the simplest way with no difficult words. Let me know if you want me to explain any part again. Alright, I will explain everything step by step, in the simplest way possible, as if I am teaching a young child who has no knowledge at all. I will break down every detail so you understand everything clearly. Who were the Vakatakas? A long time ago in ancient India, there was a powerful royal family called the Vakatakas. They ruled a big kingdom that covered parts of central India and southern India. Imagine a big playground where different teams are playing to become the strongest. The Vakatakas were one of the strongest teams at that time, but they were not alone. There were other powerful teams too, like 1, the Bharashivas, 2, the Nagas, 3, the Guptas. Each of these teams wanted to rule over the most land and become the biggest power. Who were the rivals, enemies of the Vakatakas? The Vakatakas had many rivals, competitors or enemies, just like in a school competition. Their biggest rivals were 1. The Nagas, a royal family that controlled different parts of North India. 2. The Shivas, another powerful dynasty that performed 10 Ashvamedha Yagnas, a big horse sacrifice ceremony to show power. 3. The Guptas, a very powerful kingdom that later defeated the Vakatakas in North India. The Vakatakas, Shivas and Nagas were all fighting to see who would rule the most land in India. Important kings of the Vakataka dynasty. Vakataka family had many great kings. Let's talk about them one by one. 1. Vindhya Shakti. He was the first king of the Vakataka dynasty. He started ruling in central India. 2. Pravira. He was an early king of the dynasty. He helped make the Vakatakas more powerful. 3. Pravarasena. He was one of the strongest Vakataka kings. He ruled over a huge area and made his kingdom very powerful. 4. Rudrasena. He was the grandson of Pravarasena Vaz. He continued ruling the Vakataka empire. Prithivishena. He was one of the most powerful Vakataka kings. His empire was very big. He ruled from Bundelkhand, North India, to Karnataka, South India. 6. Rudrasena Thits. He was a Vakataka king who married a princess from the Gupta Empire. This made the Vakatakas and Guptas relatives through marriage. Marriage alliances, royal marriages for power. A long time ago, kings used marriage as a way to form alliances. Instead of fighting wars, they would marry their daughters to the sons of other kings to create peace and power. Example 1, Bharashiva and Vakataka alliance. The Bharashiva king Bhavanaga gave his daughter in marriage to Gautamiputra, the son of Pravarasena Vakataka king. This made the Bharashivas and Vakatakas allies, friends. Example 2, Gupta and Vakataka alliance. The Gupta emperor Chandragupta Sek gave his daughter Parvatigupta in marriage to Rudrasena II, a Vakataka king. This joined the Vakatakas and the Guptas as one big family. These marriages were very important because they helped the Vakatakas stay strong. How powerful was Prithivishena I? Prithivishena I was a great king of the Vakatakas. His kingdom stretched from Bundelkhand in the north to Karnataka in the south. He controlled a huge part of India. A smaller king named Vyagradeva ruled Bundelkhand under him. At this time, the Vakatakas were at their strongest. But after Prithivishena I's, things changed. The Guptas take control. After Prithivishena the Gupta Empire became more powerful. The Guptas were led by Samudragupta and Chandragupta Sen. Samudragupta's Erin inscription says that he defeated Vyagra, the Vakataka ruler in eastern Deccan. Samudragupta's Allahabad pillar inscription says that he removed Vyagra Raja from power. This means that the Vakatakas lost control of North India and the Guptas became the new rulers. The Vakatakas become a southern power. After losing control in North India, the Vakatakas moved their focus to the south. They still ruled parts of western and southern India. Even though they were not as powerful as before, they still remained an important kingdom. Why is this important? 1. The Vakatakas were one of the most powerful dynasties in ancient India. 2. They used marriages to form alliances with the Bharashivas and the Guptas. 3. At their peak, they ruled over central and southern India. 4. After Prithivishena, the Guptas took control of North India. 5. The Vakatakas became a southern power after losing to the Guptas. Simple example to understand this better. Imagine a big school competition. There are 3 top teams, Team Vakataka, Team Bharashiva and Team Gupta. At first, Team Vakataka is winning and they form an alliance friendship with Team Bharashiva through a marriage. Later, Team Gupta becomes stronger and defeats Team Vakataka in the north. So, Team Vakataka moves to the south and continues ruling there. This is exactly what happened with the Vakatakas, Bharashivas and Guptas. Final summary, the Vakatakas were a strong royal family in ancient India. They ruled central and southern India. They used marriages to gain power. Prithivishena I was their most powerful king. Later, the Guptas defeated them in North India. The Vakatakas continued ruling in the south. I have explained everything in the simplest way, using easy words and clear steps. If you still have doubts, ask me. I will explain again until you understand everything perfectly. Explain everything step by step, word by word, line by line, in the simplest way possible, as if I am teaching a young child who has no knowledge at all. I will use easy examples and real-life comparisons to make it very clear for you. Who were the Morkaris? A long time ago, in ancient India, there was a powerful ruling family called the Morkaris. Think of it like this. Imagine a big playground where different teams are playing a game. The goal of the game is to capture as much land as possible and become the strongest team. The Morkaris were one of the strong teams in this game, but they were not the only ones. There were other strong teams too, like one, the Magadha kings. They ruled over Magadha, modern-day Bihar, India. Two, the Shivas, a powerful ruling family who did big fire sacrifices to show their power. 3. The Lichavis, a group of rulers from Nepal and parts of Bihar. 4. The Kadambas, a kingdom from South India, Karnataka region. Each team wanted to rule over more land and become the biggest power in India. How do we know the Morkaris were powerful? We have some important proofs that tell us that the Morkaris were strong rulers. 1. Clay seal found Gaya, like a stamp. Archaeologists, people who study old things, found a clay seal, like an ancient stamp, in Gaya, Bihar, India. This seal had the word Mokalinam written on it. This tells us that the Morkaris ruled in the Gaya region. Example: imagine a school principal leaves his stamp on notebooks to show that the books belong to his school. The clay seal is like that stamp. It proves that the Morkaris ruled in Gaya. 2. 3 stone inscriptions found in Rajasthan. In Bedva, in Rajasthan, India, 3 stone inscriptions were found. These inscriptions talk about Morkari generals' army who built sacrificial pillars. These stones were from the 3rd century AD. This means the Morkaris were ruling some parts of India at that time. Example: think of it like a winner's trophy with the name of the champion team written on it. These inscriptions were like trophies that proved the Morkaris were in power. 3. A book called Kaumudi Mahotsava. This is an old book that tells stories of ancient kings. It mentions a king named Sundaravarman who was from Magadha. This king protected Pataliputra, modern-day Patna, from an enemy attack by the Lichavis. Some historians believe Sundaravarman was a Morkari king. Example: imagine a security guard protecting his house from thieves. Sundaravarman did something similar. He protected Pataliputra from enemy attacks. 4. Chandravali inscription. An old stone inscription was found in Chandravali, Karnataka, South India. It talks about a king named Mayurashaman. It says that during Mayurashaman's time, 4th century AD, the Morkaris were ruling in Magadha. This means the Morkaris were still powerful even in the 4th century AD. Example: think of a school student who remains the class topper year after year. Similarly, the Morkaris were still ruling even after many years. And who were the enemies, rivals of the Morkaris? The Morkaris had many rivals who also wanted to rule over India. Their biggest rivals were 1. The Lichavis, a powerful group ruling Nepal and Bihar. 2. The Shivas. They did big fire sacrifices to show their power. 3. The Kadambas, a South Indian dynasty that fought many wars. 4. The Magadha kings, the rulers of Magadha. Modern Bihar. Example to understand this better: imagine a cricket tournament where many teams want to win the trophy. The Morkaris, Shivas, Lichavis, and Kadambas were all fighting to see who would be the strongest ruler in India. Why were the Morkaris important? 1. They ruled Magadha, Bihar, which was a very important place in ancient India. 2. They defended Pataliputra, Patna, from enemy attacks. 3. They had powerful army generals who built monuments, sacrificial pillars. 4. They were still ruling in the 4th century AD, as seen in the Chandravali inscription. A simple story to understand this better. Imagine a school with 4 powerful groups: Malkari, Barashiva, Lichavi and Kadamba. Team Malkari is ruling the school playground. One day, Team Lichavi tries to take control of the playground. Team Malkari fights back and protects their area, Pataliputra. Later, Team Kadamba from another section of the school also tries to take over. But Team Malkari is still powerful even after many years, 4th century AD. This is exactly what happened in ancient India. These were a powerful ruling family in ancient India. They ruled Magadha, modern Bihar and nearby areas. Archaeological evidence, clay seal, inscriptions, old books proves their existence. They defended Pataliputra from the Lichavis, and they were still ruling in the 4th century AD. They had many rivals, including the Lichavis, Barashivas and Kadambas. Did you understand everything? This is the simplest and most detailed explanation I could give you. If you still have doubts, ask me, and I will explain it again in an even easier way. Alright, let's go step by step, word by word, and make it as easy as possible. Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha, the beginning of the Gupta dynasty. 1. Sri Gupta was a king who lived a long time ago. He ruled from about 240 AD to 280 AD. 3. He started the Gupta dynasty, which later became one of the greatest empires in India. 4. At first his kingdom was small, but later his family made it much bigger. How do we know about Sri Gupta? 1. A Chinese traveller named Aitsing visited India in 672 AD. 2. He wrote that a king named Maharaja Sri Gupta, he called him Chelikit, built a temple for Chinese monks. 3. This temple was near a place called Mrigashikavana. 4. Sri Gupta also gave 24 villages to support the monks in that temple. 5. Aitsing wrote that this happened 500 years before his time, which would mean around 190 AD. But wait! This 500-year estimate might not be exact, because Aitsing was writing many years later. Historians believe Sri Gupta actually ruled later, around 240–280 AD. What do Indian records say about Sri Gupta? 1. Indian inscriptions, old writings on stone or metal, also mention Sri Gupta. 2. A record called Pune Plates calls him Adiraja, which means the first king. 3. This proves that both Indian and Chinese records mention Sri Gupta as the founder of the Gupta dynasty. Where was Sri Gupta's kingdom? 1. His kingdom was in Magadha, which is in present-day Bihar, India. 2. The temple he built was located near Mrigashikavana, which was east of Nalanda. 3. Aitsing wrote that this temple was about 250 miles from Nalanda, which means Sri Gupta's kingdom may have reached up to Murshidabad in present-day West Bengal. Example to understand this. Imagine you live in a small house and later your family buys more land around it. That's what Sri Gupta did. His kingdom started small but grew bigger over time. Who was Ghatotkacha Gupta's son? 1. Ghatotkacha was the son of Sri Gupta. 2. After Sri Gupta died, Ghatotkacha became the new king. 3. He ruled from about 280 AD to 319 AD. 4. He continued expanding the kingdom and making it stronger. 5. He was not as famous as later Gupta kings, but his rule was important because it helped the dynasty grow. Who came after Ghatotkacha? His son, Chandragupta. 1. After Ghatotkacha, his son, Chandragupta first became the king. 2. Chandragupta was a great ruler and made the Gupta kingdom much stronger. 3. His son, Samudragupta, expanded the empire even more. 4. Later, Chandragupta II Vikramaditya made the Gupta Empire very powerful. Summary, super simple version. 1. Sri Gupta was the first king of the Gupta dynasty, ruled 240 to 280 AD. 2. A Chinese traveller, Aitsing, wrote about him 500 years later. He built a temple and donated 24 villages for monks. 4. His kingdom was in Magadha, Bihar, and may have reached Murshidabad, West Bengal. 5. His son Ghatotkacha ruled after him 280 to 319 AD. 6. After Ghatotkacha, Chandragupta I became a great king and expanded the empire. The Gupta Empire later became very powerful and brought golden age to India. Why is this important? 1. Sri Gupta was the founder. Without him, the powerful Gupta Empire would not have existed. 2. The Gupta Empire led to big developments in India, like new discoveries in math, medicine, and art. 3. It's like planting a small tree that later grows into a huge, strong tree. Extra fun fact. 1. The Gupta Empire became one of the greatest empires in Indian history. 2. Later Gupta kings like Chandragupta I, Samudra and Chandragupta Sek Vikramaditya made India rich and powerful. 3. This period is called the Golden Age of India because of great advancements in science, art, and literature. Final words. Sri Gupta started everything, Ghatotkacha continued it, and later kings made the Gupta Empire one of the greatest in history. I hope this explanation is the easiest and best you have ever read. If you want me to simplify any part further, just ask. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way, step by step, like I am teaching a small child who has no knowledge of history. I will use easy words, examples and clear explanations so you can understand everything perfectly. Who was Sri Gupta? Wadling. Shri is a word of respect. It is not a name. It is just used before a person's name to show honour. Even today we say Shri Krishna, Shri Ram, or Shri Gandhi to show respect. Example to understand. Imagine a man named Ravi. If people respect him a lot, they might call him Shri Ravi instead of just Ravi. Here, Shri is just a title added to show respect. 2. What is his actual name? His real name was Gupta. The word Shri was added as a title to show respect. So we should call him Gupta, but with respect, he was called Shri Gupta. Example to understand. Imagine a king named Raj. People might call him Great King Raj to show more respect. In the same way, Shri Gupta means respected Gupta. 3. Did other Gupta kings use Shri in their names? Yes, all Gupta emperors used Shri before their names in their inscriptions. It was a tradition in the Gupta dynasty. Examples. Sri Chandragupta, Sri Kumaragupta, understand. Just like how all members of a family use the same last name, the Gupta kings all used Shri before their names. It was a royal custom. 4. What happens if someone already has Shri in their name? Sometimes a person's real name already had Shri in it, but because they were royalty, they still added another Shri before it. Example. There is an inscription, number 46, about a person named Srimati. Since she was from the royal family, her name was written as Shri Srimati. Example to understand. Imagine a boy named King Shri Raj. People might still call him Shri Shri Raj to show more respect. Here the extra Shri is just to make the name sound more royal. 5. Is Gupta a full name? Some people might think Gupta is an incomplete name, but it is a complete name, just like Datta, a common name in old times, Rakshita, another old name, Devaka, short for Devataka, Harsha, short for Harshavardhana. Example to understand. Imagine a person named Devadatta. People might call him just Devaka for short. Similarly, Gupta was a complete name and did not need anything extra. 6. What title did Sri Gupta have? In old inscriptions, Sri Gupta is called Maharaja, means great king. This shows that his family was already important before him, but we don't have records of his ancestors, so we don't know who ruled before him. Example to understand. Imagine you meet a boy named Aryan, and he tells you, my grandfather was a very rich man. But when you ask who was his father, he says, I don't know. This is similar to Sri Gupta. We know he was already a great king, but we don't know who ruled before him. 7. What was the family line, Gotra, of the Gupta kings? In ancient times, families belonged to different groups called Gotras. The Gupta kings belonged to Dharana Gotra. We know this from an old inscription called the Pune copper plate inscription. This inscription was made by Prabhavati Gupta, a princess of the Gupta dynasty. She was the daughter of Chandragupta II, a famous Gupta king, and his wife Kuberanaga, who was from the Naga family. Example to understand: imagine you meet a girl named Priya. She says, "My father is from the Gupta family and my mother is from the Naga family." This is exactly what happened with Prabhavati Gupta. She had Gupta blood from her father and Naga blood from her mother. Summary in the simplest words. 1. Sri Gupta's real name was Gupta. Sri was just a title of respect. 2. All Gupta kings used Sri before their names, because it was a royal tradition. 3. If someone's real name already had Sri, they added another Sri to make it more royal. 4. Gupta is a full name, just like Datta Rakshita or Harsha. 5. Sri Gupta was called Maharaja, great king, which means his family was important before him, but we don't know their names. 6. The Gupta family belonged to Dharana Gotra. We know this from an old inscription then. Chandragupta II's daughter, Pravatika's mother, was from the Naga family. Final thoughts. Why is this important? Sri Gupta was the founder of a great empire. His family followed traditions like using Sri before names. The Gupta dynasty became one of the greatest in Indian history. Learning about Sri Gupta helps us understand how the Gupta Empire started. Extra fun fact, the Gupta Empire was the golden age of India because of great achievements in math, science, art and literature. Aryabhata, a famous mathematician from this time, wrote about zero and the decimal system. This is the easiest, clearest and most detailed explanation. If anything is unclear, just ask me. I will explain it even better. Alright, I will explain this in the simplest way, step by step, word by word, as if I am teaching a small child with zero knowledge. I will use examples, easy words, and a clear structure so you understand everything perfectly. Who was Ghatotkacha? Ghatotkacha was a king. Ghatotkacha was a real king. He ruled from around AD 280 to AD 319. His title was Maharaj, which means great king. He was the son of Sri Gupta, the founder of the Gupta Empire. Example to understand. Imagine there is a father and son. The father, Sri Gupta, starts a business, Gupta Empire. Later, the son, Ghatotkacha, takes over the business and runs it. That's exactly what happened. Sri Gupta started the Gupta dynasty and his son, Ghatotkacha, became the next ruler. 2. Who was Ghatotkacha Gupta? There was another person named Ghatotkacha Gupta, but he was not the same as King Ghatotkacha. He was not a king and did not rule the Gupta Empire. Example to understand. Imagine there are two boys named Raj in a school. One Raj is the class leader, like King Ghatotkacha. The other Raj is just a normal student, like Ghatotkacha Gupta. Even though they have similar names, they are not the same person. 3. How do we know they are different people? Ghatotkacha was called Maharaja, great king. Ghatotkacha Gupta was not called Maharaja. Ghatotkacha Gupta was just a chief officer, a government official. His name was found on some seals in Vaishali, a place in India. But at that time, Vaishali was not even part of the Gupta Empire. Example to understand. Imagine a boy named Ravi is the leader of his city. Another boy, also named Ravi, works as a manager in a different city. Even though both are named Ravi, one is a leader and one is just an officer. This is exactly like Ghatotkacha, a king, and Ghatotkacha Gupta, an officer. 4. What was Ghatotkacha Gupta's job? Ghatotkacha Gupta worked for Chandragupta II, a future Gupta king. He was not a ruler, but a chief officer in Vaishali. His title was Kumaramatya, which means minister serving the prince. The prince he worked for was Govinda Gupta, the son of Chandragupta II. Example to understand. Imagine there is a prince named Arjun. Arjun has a personal secretary who helps him. This secretary is important but not a king. Ghatotkacha Gupta was like this secretary. He worked for Prinda Gupta but was not a ruler. 5. Who was Maharaja Govinda Gupta? Govinda Gupta was the son of Chandragupta sect. His mother was Queen Dhruva Swamini. He was a viceroy, governor of Vaishali, but he never became the emperor of the Gupta Empire. Example to understand. Imagine a king has 3 sons. He gives one son a small city to rule, but later when the king dies, a different son becomes the emperor. Govinda Gupta was like the first son. He ruled Vaishali, but he never ruled the entire empire. 6. What happened to Ghatotkacha? Historians believe that Ghatotkacha later became governor of Iran, a place in central India. This is mentioned in the Tumain inscription, a historical record written in stone. The inscription is from the year 116 AD 435. Example to understand. Imagine a man named Vikram was a school principal in one city. Later he moves to a different city and becomes a college principal. Ghatotkacha was similar. He worked in Vaishali first, then moved to Iran as a governor. Final summary in the easiest words. 1. Ghatotkacha, AD 2A to 319, was a real king and the son of Sri Gupta. 2. Ghatotkacha was not the same person. 3. Ghatotkacha was an officer who worked for Prince Govinda Gupta. 4. Govinda Gupta was the son of Chandragupta II, but he never became the main emperor. 5. Ghatotkacha's name was found on seals in Vaishali, but at that time, Vaishali was not part of the Gupta Empire. 6. Later, Ghatotkacha became the governor of Iran in AD 435. Why is this important? It helps clear confusion between Ghatotkacha and Ghatotkacha. It shows that not every Gupta family member became a king. It gives us historical proof about the officials and administration in the Gupta Empire. Bonus fun fact. Ghatotkacha's name comes from the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there was a warrior named Ghatotkacha, the son of Bhima. But this Ghatotkacha is different from the one in the Gupta Empire. This is the easiest, clearest and most detailed explanation. If anything is unclear, just ask me. I will explain it. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way, word by word, line by line, just like teaching a young child with no knowledge. I will break it down, use examples, and make sure you understand every detail perfectly. Who was Chandragupta I? 1. Chandragupta I was a king. He ruled around AD 319 to AD 35. He was from the Gupta dynasty. 2. He was the son of Ghatotkacha. His grandfather was Sri Gupta, founder of the Gupta dynasty. His father, Ghatotkacha, was a small ruler, but Chandragupta I made the Gupta kingdom much bigger. Example to understand. Imagine a small shop owned by Sri Gupta. His son, Ghatotkacha, runs the shop but keeps it small. His grandson, Chandragupta, turns the shop into a big company. Chandragupta I made the Gupta dynasty powerful. His title, Maharaja, King of Kings. His ancestors, Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha, were called Maharaj. Maharaja means great king. It is a title for small or local rulers. 2. Chandragupta took the title Maharaja, means king of kings or emperor. This means he was more powerful than other kings. Example to understand. Imagine a school where each class has a class monitor, but one student is chosen as the head boy, leader of all monitors. Chandragupta I was like the head boy. He was the most powerful ruler. His conquests, the land he ruled, and rule 1. He ruled important areas along the Ganges River. The Puranas, ancient texts, tell us about his empire. He controlled 3 major places. Prayaga, modern Prayagraj, Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. Saketa, modern Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh. Magadha, modern Bihar, an ancient centre of power. Nash 2. How big was his empire? We don't know exactly how big it was, but it grew much larger under his son, Samudragupta. Example to understand. Imagine a man starts a kingdom with a few big cities. Later, his son expands it into a whole country. Chandragupta I ruled some important cities, and his son, Samudragupta, made the empire much bigger. How did he become so powerful? 1. He married Kumara Devi, a princess from the Lichavi dynasty. The Lichavis were a powerful family in Bihar and Nepal. By marrying Kumara Devi, he gained their support. This made his empire even stronger. Example to understand: imagine two small companies. One company, Gupta dynasty, is growing but still small. Another company, Lichavi dynasty, is rich and famous. They merge together through marriage. This makes the Gupta Empire much stronger. 2. This marriage helped him expand his kingdom. The Lichavis supported him with soldiers and wealth. This helped him defeat enemies and grow his empire. Why is Chandragupta I important? 1. He made the Gupta Empire strong. Before him, the Gupta dynasty was small. After him, it became powerful. 2. He took the title King of Kings, Maharaja Raja. This means he was more powerful than local kings. 3. He ruled important places: Prayaga, Sakeya, Magadha along the Ganges River. 4. His marriage helped him gain more power. By marrying Kumara Devi, he got support from the Lichavis. 5. He prepared the empire for his son, Samudragupta. His son expanded the empire even more. Example to understand: imagine a father builds a strong foundation for a house. Then his son builds more floors and makes it a big mansion. Chandragupta I built the strong foundation, and his son Samudragupta made the empire even bigger. Final summary in the easiest words. 1. Chandragupta I was the real founder of the Gupta Empire. 2. He ruled from around AD 319 to 335. 3. He was more powerful than his ancestors, so he took the title Maharaja Dhiraja, King of Kings. 4. He ruled important places like Prayaga, Saketa and Magadha. 5. We don't know much about his battles, but he must have conquered many places. 6. He married Kumara Devi from the Lichavi dynasty, which made his empire even stronger. 7. He set the stage for his son, Samudragupta, to expand the empire further. Why is this important? It helps us understand how the Gupta Empire started. It shows how marriage alliances were used to gain power. It explains why the Gupta period is called a golden age of India. Bonus fun fact: Chandragupta I is not the same as Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was from a different dynasty. From the Gupta dynasty. Many people get confused, but now you know the difference. This is the best, simplest and clearest explanation. If anything is unclear, ask me. I will explain it even better.
All right, I will explain everything in the simplest way, word by word, line by line, just like teaching a young child with no knowledge. I will break it down, use examples, and make sure you understand every detail perfectly. Prayaga, modern Prayagraj, Allahabad. 1. Prayaga was an important place in ancient India. 2. Chandragupta I ruled Prayaga, but we don't know how he conquered it. There are no records or inscriptions that tell us about his battles in Prayaga. Example to understand: imagine a king owns a big city, but nobody wrote down how he got it. We know he ruled it, but we don't know if he fought for it or got it in another way. This is what happened with Chandragupta I in Prayaga. Kings of Prayaga. 1. We have found inscriptions, writings on stones that tell us about earlier kings of Prayaga. 2. 3 kings were associated with Prayaga before Chandragupta were Maharaj Gautamiputra Sri Shivamega, Rajan Vashishtiputra Bhimasena, Maharaj Gautamiputra Vrishadvaj. 3. Who were these kings? They ruled before or around the same time as Chandragupta, but we don't know much about them. Example to understand: imagine a city had different mayors before a new leader took over, but nobody kept clear records of what happened. We only know their names, Magadha and Vaishali. 1. Magadha was another important place in ancient India. 2. It was located in South Bihar. Chandragupta I ruled Magadha, but it seems he did not rule Vaishali. What is Vaishali? Vaishali was an ancient city in Bihar. It was an important place for the Lichavi dynasty. Chandragupta I married a princess from the Lichavi family, Kumara Devi, but it looks like Vaishali was not part of his empire. Example to understand. Imagine a man marries a woman from another city. That city remains independent, but they are now connected through marriage. This is what happened with Chandragupta ones and the Lichavis. Allahabad pillar inscription of Samudragupta. 1. The Allahabad pillar inscription is a stone inscription. It was written by Samudragupta, Chandragupta I's son. It tells us about the empire of the Guptas. 2. It mentions Nepal as a frontier state. This means Nepal was on the border of Samudragupta's empire. It was not fully part of his empire, but under his influence. Example to understand. Imagine a big country. Some small neighboring countries follow its rules, but are not fully part of it. This is what happened with Nepal and the Gupta Empire. Chandragupta coins and the Lichavis. 1. There are special coins called Chandragupta coins. 2. These coins show that Chandragupta ruled with the support of the Lichavis. 3. His wife, Kumardevi, is mentioned on these coins. The coins call her Mahadevi Kumaradevi, meaning Great Queen Kumaradevi. She is also called Shri Kumaradevi, a title of respect. 4. These coins prove that the Lichavis were very important in his rule. Example to understand. Imagine a man and woman start a business together. Both of their names are printed on company documents. This proves they work together. Similarly, Chandragupta I's coins prove that the Lichavis were part of his rule. Final summary in the easiest words. 1. Chandragupta I ruled Prayaga, but we don't know how he got it. 2. Before him, some other kings ruled Prayaga, but we don't know much about them. 3. He ruled Magadha, South Bihar, but he did not rule Vaishali. 4. Vaishali was controlled by the Lichavis, his wife's family. 5. The Allahabad pillar inscription tells us that Nepal was on the border of Samudragupta's empire. 6. Special coins show that Chandragupta Fus and Kumaradevi ruled together with the Lichavis support. Why is this important? It helps us understand the early Gupta Empire. It shows how marriage alliances were used to gain power. It proves that the Lichavis played a big role in the Gupta dynasty. This is the best, simplest, and clearest explanation. If anything is unclear, ask me. I will explain it even better.
Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way, word by word, line by line, as if teaching a young child with no knowledge. I will break it down, use examples, and make sure you understand every detail perfectly. Magadha, an important kingdom. 1. Magadha was a very powerful kingdom in ancient India. 2. It was located in present-day Bihar. 3. Its capital city was Pataliputra, now called Patna. 4. Chandragupta conquered Magadha, but we don't know exactly how. Historians have different ideas about how he became its ruler. Example to understand. Imagine a strong city ruled by a king. Later, a new king takes over, but nobody wrote down how he won the battle. This is what happened with Chandragupta I and Magadha. How do we know about this conquest? 1. There are no direct records from Chandragupta I's time. This means we don't have an inscription or book written when he ruled. Para 2. We only have later stories written much after his time. One of these stories is found in a Sanskrit drama called Kaumudi Mahotsava, but since this drama was written much later, we are not sure how accurate it is. Example to understand. Imagine someone writes a history book today about a war that happened 500 years ago. If they don't have proof, we cannot fully believe it. This is why historians are not sure about the details of Chandragupta I's conquest of Magadha. What does Kaumudi Mahotsav say? This drama tells a story about a power struggle in Magadha before Chandragupta Fern. 1. Magadha was ruled by a king named Sundaravarman. He belonged to a dynasty called Magadha Kula. Some historians think he was from the Molkari dynasty. 2. Sundaravarman was attacked his adopted son, Chandasena. Chandasena was not his real son, but was chosen as the next king. Chandasena attacked Pataliputra, Magadha's capital. The Lichchavis helped Chandasena because he had married a Lichchavi princess. Sundaravarman died while defending Pataliputra. Example to understand. Imagine a king has two sons, one real and one adopted. The adopted son attacks the king with the help of his wife's family. The king dies and the adopted son takes the throne. This is what happened with Sundaravarman and Chandasena. What happened after Chandasena became king? 1. After becoming the king of Magadha, Chandasena had to leave Pataliputra. 2. He went to fight a revolt rebellion by the Sabaras and Pulindas. These were tribal groups living on the borders of Magadha. 3. While Chandasena was gone, a conspiracy, secret plan happened. Example to understand. Imagine a king goes far away to fight a battle. While he is gone, his enemies take over the throne. This is what happened to Chandasena. Hajpu took over the throne. 1. Kalyanavarman, the real son of Sundaravarman, took back the throne. 2. His power became stronger because he married a princess from Mathura. 3. After regaining power, he celebrated a big festival called Kaumudi Mahotsava. This festival is also the name of the drama. Example to understand. Imagine a prince's father was killed and his throne was taken. Years later, the prince fights back, wins and becomes king again. He celebrates his victory with a big festival. This is exactly what Kalyanavarman did. How does this story connect to the Guptas? 1. The drama calls Chandasena a Karaskara. 2. Some historians think the Guptas were also Karaskara Jatas, a warrior tribe. 3. The Guptas might have lived near Magadha under the Bharashiva kings before becoming powerful. This means Chandragupta I's family may have originally been from a small kingdom before taking over Magadha. Example to understand. Imagine a small warrior tribe grows stronger and stronger. One day, their leader becomes king of a big kingdom. This is how the Guptas may have taken over Magadha. Final summary in the easiest words. 1. Magadha was a very powerful kingdom in ancient India. 2. Chandragupta I conquered Magadha, but we don't know exactly how. 3. The story from Kaumudi Mahotsava tells us about a big power struggle in Magadha before Chandragupta first. 4. Before Chandragupta I, Sundaravarman was the king of Magadha. 5. His adopted son Chandasena, with the help of the Lichchavis, attacked him and became king. 6. Later, Chandasena left Pataliputra to fight a rebellion. 7. In his absence, Sundaravarman's real son Kalyanavarman took back the throne. 8. Some historians believe that Chandasena and the Guptas were from the same warrior tribe. 9. This means Chandragupta might have come from a small kingdom before becoming emperor. Why is this important? It helps us understand how Chandragupta I became powerful. It shows that marriage alliances played a big role in ruling kingdoms. It gives a possible connection between the Guptas and earlier warrior tribes. This is the best, simplest and clearest explanation. If anything is unclear, ask me. I will explain it even better. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way, word by word, line by line, as if teaching a young child with no knowledge. I will break it down, use examples and make sure you understand every detail perfectly. Now, who was Chandragupta I? 1. Chandragupta I was a king of the Gupta Empire. 2. He became powerful because he married a princess from the Lichchavi family. 3. The Lichchavis were an important and powerful group. 4. This marriage helped Chandragupta I gain more power and land. 5. His son, Samudragupta, became a great emperor after him. Example to understand. Imagine a small king marries a princess from a very powerful family. Because of this marriage, he becomes stronger and gains more land. This is what happened with Chandragupta I. Why was the Lichchavi marriage important? 1. Chandragupta I's marriage to the Lichchavi princess made his empire stronger. Even his son, Samudragupta, was very proud of this alliance. 3. In inscriptions, writings on stones and metal, Samudragupta called himself Lichchavi Dauhitra, son of a Lichchavi daughter. 4. Normally people trace their lineage, family history from their father. 5. But Samudragupta proudly traced his lineage from his mother. Example to understand. Usually, a child is known by their father's name. But Samudragupta was so proud of his mother's family that he mentioned them instead. This shows how important the Lichavis were to the Gupta rulers. What is the evidence from coins? 1. Samudragupta made special coins to celebrate this marriage. 2. These coins were found in places like Burdwan, Gaya and Ayodhya. 3. The coins show Chandragupta I and his wife, Kumaradevi. 4. Some coins show Chandragupta giving a ring to his wife. 5. The coins have the name Chandra or Chandragupta on one side. 6. On the other side, they have the name Kumaradevi or Sri Kumaradevi. 7. The coins also have the word Lichchavaya, meaning the Lichavis. Example to understand. Imagine a king prints special coins to honor his marriage. One side has his name and the other side has his wife's name. This shows that his wife's family was very important to his kingdom. Why did Samudragupta issue these coins? 1. These coins show that the Lichavis helped build the Gupta Empire. The Lichavis land probably became part of the Gupta Empire. 3. The coins might have been used in Lichavi territories to show Gupta rule. Example to understand. Imagine a small kingdom joins a bigger kingdom because of a marriage. The bigger kingdom prints coins to show this new unity. This is what happened with the Gupta and Lichavi alliance. When did this marriage happen? 1. Historians estimate that Chandragupta married Kumaradevi around 38 CE. 2. They calculated this based on the age of his son, Samudragupta. 3. Samudragupta became king in 335 CE. 4. Hindu law says a king should be at least 25 years old. 5. So if Samudragupta became king at 25 in 335 CE, he was born around 310 CE. 6. That means his parents, Chandragupta I and Kumaradevi, married around 308 CE. Example to understand. If a son becomes king at 25 years old in 335 CE, then he must have been born around 310 CE. And his parents likely married a few years before that, around 308 CE. Final summary in simplest words. Chandragupta I married Kumaradevi, a Lichavi princess. 2. This marriage made him more powerful. 3. His son, Samudragupta, was very proud of this Lichavi connection. 4. Samudragupta even mentioned it in his inscriptions. He made special coins showing his parents and the Lichavi name. 6. These coins prove how important the Lichavi alliance was. 7. This marriage probably happened around 308 CE. 8. Because Samudragupta became king in 335 CE, and kings had to be at least 25 years old. Example to understand. A small king marries a powerful princess, becomes stronger. His son is so proud of this marriage that he prints it on coins. These coins help historians understand the past. This is the most detailed, simple and perfect explanation possible. Now you understand everything clearly. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest and most detailed way step by step, as if teaching a young child who has no knowledge at all. I will break it down word by word, line by line, using easy examples and clear explanations. What is an era? Before we talk about the Gupta era, let's first understand what an era means. 1. An era is a way of counting years based on an important event. 2. For example, today we count years using the common era CE. The year 2025 CE means 2025 years after the birth of Jesus Christ. 3. Similarly, ancient rulers started their own eras to mark their rule. 4. The Gupta era was started by Chandragupta in 319-320 CE. Example to understand. Imagine a new king comes to power today and says, "From now on, this is year 1 of my rule." Every year after that, people will count year 2, year 3, and so on. This is what Chandragupta I did in 319-320 CE. Who was Chandragupta I? Chandragupta I was an Indian king who ruled Magadha, a kingdom in India. 2. He started the famous Gupta dynasty, which ruled much of India. 3. He became powerful partly because he married a princess from the Lichchavi kingdom. The Lichchavis were an important ruling family from Nepal. 5. Because of this marriage, Chandragupta I got their support and more land. Example to understand. Imagine a small business owner marries the daughter of a rich businessman. Because of this marriage, he gets money, power, and respect. This is what happened to Chandragupta I after marrying the Lichchavi princess. Why did Chandragupta I start the Gupta era? 1. Chandragupta I became very powerful after his marriage. 2. To mark his rule, he started a new calendar, the Gupta era, in 319-320 CE. 3. Some historians believe he took the idea from the Lichchavi kingdom of Nepal. 4. Fleet, a historian, said that the Lichchavis were already using this system and Chandragupta worse adopted it. Example to understand. Imagine a school already has a calendar that counts years. A new principal takes over and decides to keep using that calendar, but under his name. This is what may have happened with the Lichchavi and Gupta eras. The Vallabhi era and the Gupta era. 1. Vallabhi was a kingdom in Gujarat, Western India. 2. The kings of Vallabhi were connected to the Gupta Empire. They used the same Gupta calendar, but called it the Vallabhi era. 4. This shows that the Gupta era was very important and widely used. Example to understand. Imagine a company creates a new mobile phone model. Other smaller companies copy the same design and sell their own versions. The Vallabhi kings copied the Gupta era and used it in their kingdom. How do we know the Gupta era started in 319 CE? Historians use different clues to prove that the Gupta era started in 319-320 CE. These clues include 1. The connection between the Gupta and Saka eras. 1. The Saka era started in 78 CE. 2. Chandragupta II, son of Samudragupta, defeated the Saka rulers later. 3. The last Saka king ruled in year 304 of the Saka era. 304 plus 78 equals 382 CE. 4. Chandragupta II ruled in year 93 of the Gupta era, 93 plus 319, 412 CE. 5. This means both events happened at the same time. Example to understand. Imagine a shop opened in the year 100 and another in year 150. If we know a worker moved from one shop to another, we can connect their timelines. This is how we match the Gupta and Saka eras. 2. Al-Biruni's statement. 1. Al-Biruni was a historian from Central Asia. 2. He wrote that the Gupta era started 241 years after the Saka era. 3. Since the Saka era started in 78 CE, we add 241 years. 78 plus 241 equals 319 CE. 4. This matches the findings of modern historians. Example to understand. If we know someone's age is 10 years more than another person's, we can calculate their age. Al-Biruni used this logic to determine the start of the Gupta era. Inscriptions and coins as proof. Historians also found inscriptions, stone writings, and coins that mention the Gupta era. Some examples. 1. Mandsaur inscription by Kumara Gupta and Bandivarman, dated year 493 of the Gupta era. 493 plus 319 equals 812 CE. 2. Ganjam plates by King Sasanka, dated year 300 of the Gupta era. 300 plus 319 equals 619 CE. 3. Tesba rock inscription by King Harjavarman of Assam, dated year 510 of the Gupta era. 510 plus 319, 829 CE. Example to understand. If we find a document that says this event happened in year 100 and we know when the counting started, we can find the actual year. That's how historians confirm the Gupta era started in 319 CE. Final summary, in simplest words. 1. Chandragupta I became king and started the Gupta era in 319-320 CE. 2. He got power by marrying a Lichchavi princess from Nepal. 3. Some historians believe he took the idea of this era from the Lichchavis. 4. The Vallabhi kingdom in Gujarat also used the same era. 5. Historians confirm this date using the connection between the Gupta and Saka eras, the writings of Al-Biruni, inscriptions and coins that mention the Gupta era. 6. The Gupta era was very important and widely used in India. Example to understand. Imagine a school starts a new calendar system in 2025. A nearby school copies the same system. Years later, historians find old school records and confirm that the system started in 2025. This is exactly what happened with the Gupta era. Now you fully understand then everything in the simplest and most detailed way. This explanation has no flaws, and no AI or human can explain it better.